what I wanted to do today is take you through a really powerful process. And this is where we're going to be connecting in with our future selves and doing some channeling from that space. I feel like I don't really need to speak on any more about what we've spoken about, but just before we do that, is there anyone who had any questions or comments or insights about what we've just spoken about this morning? Does that all feel pretty good? Okay, great. So please make sure you have a pen and a piece of paper or a notebook. And I'm just realizing that mine is over here. And this is something that I regularly do on a consistent basis. And I do this because I find, especially if I'm struggling with something, I'm trying to figure something out, or I'm trying to, do something in a different way. Often the brain that created the problem is not going to be the brain that's going to be able to find the solutions, right? And so we can often get very stuck in our ways, in our mindset, in our business, in how we're going about showing up and promoting our business and getting ourselves out there, how we are in our sales, how we are in our marketing, how we are in our service delivery. One of the most powerful tools that I know of to support me to shift my consciousness so that I can tap into other creative thought processes is actually to do some future self projections or future self channeling. Now I'm going to talk about a couple of different ways that I do this. Okay. And I want this to kind of be slotted into your tools in the toolbox. One of the most powerful things that when I do it on a consistent basis, it is so powerful. It is like unbelievably powerful. It's the consistency that I need to work on. You know how it goes, right? We always know what we need to do. But one of the first things that I will share with you is what I like to call journaling for manifestation. Okay. So the way this journaling process works is that you're journaling in your journal in first person as if you have already achieved the goals that you are setting out to achieve. Okay. So it might look like this. The date is December 2022. I've had the most incredible year in my business. I've hit $500,000 in my business, and it came with ease and grace. I supported over 150 women to step into their power, to share their story, to become financially sovereign through sharing their soul mission. And it feels delicious in my body. I'm writing this in my journal, okay? It feels amazing in my body to know that I have supported so many women to rise into their gifts. My relationship is powerfully full of love. My relationship with my children, I've worked on being present with my children. I've worked on having strong boundaries with my business and my kids, so that when I'm not working on my business, I am fully present with my children, and I've mastered the art of remaining in that state of presence with them. Right? As an example. Really, really, really powerful. Why? Because the brain, what it does is the brain will look for patterns. Okay, so if you're, what's the word I'm looking for? Blueprinting into the brain, these are the goals that I'm working on. And actually, I'm telling my brain, and it doesn't know if it's past, present, or future, that actually these goals have already happened. They are done. They are done. They are done. They are done. It's a given. Then what happens subconsciously is your brain will start to look for patterns to fulfill upon the desired outcome. And it will start to shift your energetics. It will start to shift your consciousness, the way that you think about your business, the way you think about whatever it is that you're working on. So as a part of a daily journaling practice, spending a solid amount of that time journaling, actually doing future projection journaling for manifestation is so, so powerful. And it also helps you get really clear on your goals, right? So, if I'm going to be journaling about the launch that I'm conducting at the moment, okay, it's the beginning of April, and my book, Warriors of Light, has filled with 30 amazing authors. I have a mix of different types of authors, different men and women. I have a mix of different types of professionals, and they're coming together with the most incredible energy. right? I can't express to you how powerful it is. And when you do it on a daily basis, it stacks up really, really, really awesome. So that's the first tool that I wanted to share with you, journaling for manifestation. And always in the first person, always in the present, as if the event has happened. I am in this state. This has happened. This is how I feel about it. This is how it's shown up for me in my reality. And the detail is actually quite important there. How has this goal that you have been working on, how has it shown up? What impact has it had? Right? If you've made $100,000 in your business, how did it feel to receive $100,000 in your business, in your bank account? What were you able to do with that money? Where did that money go? Right? Who did you work? How many people did you work with to have that money show up in your account? Yeah. So that's one thing that I wanted to share. So the second thing that we're going to do, I'm going to take you through a little journey, and we're going to be tapping into and connecting with your future self. Now, I'm going to say future self 2 years down the track. All right. When I take you through this little process, I want you to encapsulate as much information as you can in how it feels, how it looks, how it sounds, how it smells to be in this space. And then we're going to come back to present reality, and we're going to do some channeling with the intention of downloading the blueprint of this future version of you. Okay. So that version of you who's achieved this goal, say of earning $100,000 in her business, she will have a very particular way about her energetics and a particular way with her identities, like the different identities that she associates with, that have meant that she's been able to reach that goal. What is it about that in particular? How does she think? How does she show up in the world? How does she manage her money? How does she deal with her client service delivery, right? All of these different aspects of the goal that you are calling in, okay? And in many cases, it's as simple, we talk about the quantum and timelines and all of this, we can plug into future timelines. We've spoken about this before, right? We can plug into and download the blueprint of future versions of you. And this is actually going to facilitate quantum leaps in a way that we cannot do from just up here, right? When you hear about people that have major quantum leaps in their, for example, in their business, right? It's often facilitated through ways that are beyond the conscious mind. Okay. So wanted to share that with you, and the reminder that if you're dealing with something in the present and you're feeling really stuck, and it might not necessarily be business, it could be a relationship, right? It could be a health problem. It could be the state of the world. It is such a powerful thing to tap into that version of you who's dealt with it, who's overcome it, who's ridden out the wave, and then draw back from her. Okay. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, cool. Alrighty. So if you have anything in your hands, I invite you to put it down. And I want you to place your feet flat on the floor and taking in a big, deep breath and closing down the eyes. And just for a minute, feeling your body. How does it feel in this precise moment in history? What is your body saying it needs? Taking in another big, deep breath. And releasing down. The reality is, the truth is that we can be, time travelers. That's often how I feel when doing this kind of powerful consciousness projection work. Time travelers with the knowing that really there is no past, present, and future. Everything is happening all at once from the higher dimensional perspective. It is a construct of the third density that we have past, present, and future. And we're always bound by our perception of what we believe is possible. The only restriction that you will ever experience are the limits of your perception. And just because you can't envisage it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not possible. So just for a minute, noticing where you have placed limits upon yourself, maybe like subtle limits, slippery ones that you didn't even know you had placed there. And for a moment, you might just like to scan through the various important aspects of your life, your relationships. What subtle, slippery limits have you placed on various relationships? I didn't see that I'd done that. Leaving no spaces for miracles. Or in your health. This is the way things are. This is the way my body is. Or that person, this is the way they are. What decisions have you made that have placed limitations upon that relationship? Your business. The state of the world. Just noticing, where have I limited my perception of what's possible? Where have I hung on to an outcome, grasped onto it, not let go? An outcome, a desired outcome. Even our goals, right? Where have I really clasped and grasped onto how I believe something should be? In turn, blocking other possibilities. And then with the power of our intentions and our thoughts, we can let that go, right? Just letting everything go that I just said. All of that thought process around projections and limitations, allowing it to dissolve. And taking in another big, deep breath, coming back to the present moment. And imagining that beautiful trapdoor at the top of the head, that crown, unlocking that trapdoor and extending out your field of energy out beyond the confines of your aura. Moving your awareness up, floating up out the top of your space, your personal space. And getting that floating feeling as we allow gravity to disconnect and our consciousness to leave the confines of our body, always connected. And as we enter into our cosmic psychonaut spacesuit, I invite you to imagine you're standing above the timeline of your life. You're floating above the timeline of your life. And if you look behind you, you can see down there all of the past chapters of your personal experience in this lifetime. And if you turn to the other direction, you can see down there the future chapters of this lifetime. So I invite you to move forward 2 years, 8th of March, 2024. And as you move forward on that timeline, you can look down and just get a general sense of how things look, how things feel before we descend. 2 years, 8th of March, 2024. And projecting the intention that you're going to send your consciousness down, all the way down. And imagining, visualizing, sensing, feeling your energy enter into the crown chakra of you in 2 years' time. All the way down through the body and landing inside your body in 2 years' time. And just getting a sense, no need to open your eyes yet inside this time traveling expedition, but just getting a sense, how does it feel inside this future version's body? How does her body feel? How does your body feel 2 years down the track? Does it feel free? Does it feel tight? Where are you drawn to noticing? And then I invite you to, in your mind's eye, open up your eyes and get a sense of where this future version of you, where does she live? Does she live in the same house or a different one? And starting to explore your surroundings. Where are you? Inside or outside? Is it night or day? Are you on your own? Or is there people there with you? And I want you to explore this space that you find yourself in. How is it kept? What does the house look like? How does it feel? And then how does this future version of you, how does she operate in her business, allowing this important information to come to you with ease and grace? How does she go about her business? How many clients does she have? What sort of work is she doing? What sort of transformation is she facilitating? How much money has she made? How does she feel about marketing? How does she feel about being in service delivery? What's her relationship like with her partner, if she has one? And with her children, if she has any? What sort of food does she eat? How does she tend to her self-care? And what is her life like in action? Is she working in her genius? As you're gathering this information, I invite you to feel in your body the information entering into your cells. This is a version of you 2 years down the track who has learned important things, who has implemented powerful strategies, who has embodied incredible healing and incredible quantum leaps. She communicates in very precise and particular ways. She sets boundaries in precise and particular ways. Feeling that enter into your cells so that your body can download and open and receive these higher vibrational blueprints. And gathering as much information as you can here about this future version of you, establishing contact with her, knowing that anytime you need a higher perspective or desire a fresh perspective, you can simply connect in with your future timeline. And then once again, feeling that trapdoor begin to open at the top of the head. And leaving that future version of you ascending up your consciousness, jumping back into your time traveler psychonaut spacesuit, entering up, up, up through the layers of the cosmos, connecting in with the higher level timeline again. You might get that looking down sensation as you look down upon it. And then stepping back 2 years, 2022, the 8th of March. And then descending back down all the way down, entering into your energetic orbit, sliding down through the crown and landing back in your body in the here and now. Taking in a breath, familiarizing yourself with your body once again and this current reality. And pulling out your diary or your journal or a piece of paper. We're going to practice journaling for manifestation. So it is the 8th of March, 2022. I have experienced, and away you go.
Did you say 2022?
Sorry, 2024. Yes, thank you for picking that up. 8th of March, 2024.
Niños que cuiden la tierra, mujeres que nutren las plantas, niños que escuchan atento a la voz de su abuelo, niños que escuchan atento a la historia de su abuelo. Y ahí apareces tú,